It's a pattern review of the Sew Over It 1940s wrap dress. Hello and welcome. I'm Akram and you're watching Akram's Ideas, bringing creative and crazy ideas to life. It is now the month of May, and if you are familiar with the sewing community, you know what May brings. Me Made May. And that is a month dedicated to wearing your me-made clothes. It can be one item every day, it can be every other day. The idea behind it is to get sewers to actually wear the garments or accessories or whatever it may be that they sew up. And for me, this is pretty easy. I've got a lot of me-made in my wardrobe already, and I wear me-made at least 80% of the time. But what is really cool about Me Made May for me personally is that I actually try to wear the Me Made things that I don't wear as often, because the idea for me is I like to take a photo every day and share it on Instagram, and I don't want to be wearing like the same dress every other day, because in reality that's what I do. But I want to try to get as much wear out of the garments that I have made. And this brings me to this dress that I'm currently wearing, and this is the Sew Over It 1940s wrap dress. So you may recall way back in November of last year, I was preparing to go to the hanger dance, which is sort of this vintage 1940s swing dance event that they have as a charity event to raise money for the Warbird Airplane Society. And I don't dance, for one, but I love the idea of going, obviously supporting a piece of history, but also the chance to dress up in all 40s style. I had already planned to make the 1940s wrap dress, and this particular dress is the toil of the dress that I was going to wear to the hanger dance. Since we were in the midst of Me Made May, and I was going through my wardrobe, and I found this toil, and I was like, oh, you know what? I haven't really worn this. Not to mention, I haven't really shared with you guys a review of this dress, because obviously November is a pretty busy time around here, and I never got a chance to tell you anything about this toil version or the actual version, which I'll share with you in a bit. But again, this is the Sew Over It 1940s wrap dress. It comes about 3 inches below my knee, which is a perfect length. I believe I cut the size 14, I want to say, if I'm remembering correctly. The dress is lovely. It fits so well, so well. The only thing that as far as this version, again, was done as a test, a wearable muslin, you might say, before I cut into my precious fabric. So this is just some rayon that I had in my stash, and I didn't have a whole lot of it, so I had just enough to make this dress. And I will say this dress turned out really lovely. It really had no problems. The fit was perfect. There are a few issues with this version. One is that I had a really hard time on the instructions determining which way the pleats on the shoulder should be. And if you look carefully, you might not be able to tell because of the print, but the lapel here kind of covers the pleats. So I determined after making this version, I really should have pleated it the other way so that the lapel wouldn't just take away from that detail. But other than that, I mean, the construction was really straightforward. I've loved Sew Over It patterns. I like their style of clothes. I've made a lot of Sew Over It patterns. The vintage shirt dress is still probably my favorite, but this is a close contender as second. I will say that I feel like the bodice is a little high. I cut this one straight out of the package, and I will say that it is sitting about 2 inches above my natural waist, which gives it a little bit more of an empire waist, at least on me, and I'm only 5'3", so that's actually, I feel like that's really high if you were tall, you know, or at least taller than me, and I'm not very tall. So that's one thing. Unlike a lot of wrap dresses, this dress actually has just a little button right here, and I actually used a snap. And the only other thing that I really don't like about this are the sleeves are just a little too tight. And I think it's a little, I mean, I don't know if it's really too tight in the back. It is a little, but I think it's mostly the sleeves are too tight. And if I recall correctly, I knew that the sleeves were going to be tight, and I increased the size of the sleeve, but I didn't give myself any wearing ease. And that's one thing that I have found with Sew Over It patterns. While they fit really well, their sleeves are like for skinny little arms. And I got big country girl arms. So,
to see more episodes like this, be sure to click the like button, subscribe to Akram's Ideas, and hit the bell icon to get notified of new episodes.
Yeah, I have to always do a full bicep adjustment on the sew over sleeves. And when I did these, I did them where they fit and they're comfortable. I mean, like, I can wear them, but I didn't really give myself enough wearing ease, so I can't really bend too much. And if I bend my elbows, it just feels a little tight. But otherwise, the dress is pretty nice. So this was the first version, like I said, a wearable toile. And I am going to now change into the second version, which is the actual version that I made for the hanger dance. This is the second version of the 1940s wrap dress, which I actually made for the hanger dance. And I believe I only actually have one good photo of the dress at the dance, which is one of the reasons I never really talked about it, because the lighting, it's actually a dance in an airport hangar, and the lighting is just so bad. They've got it mostly dimmed anyways for the dancing and spotlights on the band, and actually I was under the weather when we actually got there and everything, and we didn't stay very long. And this tends to be the case almost every year when we go to this event, is that I kind of fall under the weather, and it's because it's coming close right before Thanksgiving break, where midterm grades have to go in, things are happening in school, and of course the cold and flu season's coming up. So it just kind of falls in sort of a weird time for me. And I never really get as much as I want out of going to the hanger dance, unfortunately. This dress was also made as part of the Swap, Share, and Sew challenge back in September, November time, where you were paired with another sewer from around the world who would help you. You would swap some trim and notions, and they would help you choose what fabric and pattern to make for the project that you were working on. And I got paired with the lovely Maria from Mia Mandel Creates on Instagram, and she helped me decide, obviously, the fabric, which was this print here, and also the 1940s wrap dress. I had a couple of choices, and the 1940 wrap dress was the one that got picked. So this is the end result of it. And again, I never really shared this dress. I think also part of the problem with both the versions, and this version, I like the fit of the first version so much, and I immediately cut out the second version without remembering that the sleeves were a little tight. So this one has the same problem as the first one. The sleeves are a little tight. I mean, it's not uncomfortable. It's just uncomfortable if I want to bend my arms. But I do need to remember that if I make this dress again, which I probably will, is that I need to address the arms a little bit. Let's see. They're both made of a rayon fabric, and I actually have quite a bit of this fabric left over, so I want to make something else with it. But one of the things I love about this dress is it fits so well. I think it fits so well in the bust. I love the way it looks here. It's just really nice. I really like it. But one of the reasons that I haven't really worn either of these versions since making them is they're made out of a lightweight rayon, which means November was not the best time to be making those garments because it was just way too cold. It's way too cold. And it's pretty much cold up until March. I mean, there have been times in Oklahoma where it has snowed in April. So it's one of those things where, like, it was just the wrong time of year to be making it out of this particular fabric. So now that it's warmer weather, now that we're in May, I pulled these out of my wardrobe this past week and I was like, you know what? Why don't I wear these more often? They're so pretty. The fit's really nice. Again, I would say that this particular pattern has more of an empire waist because it is about 2 inches higher than my natural waist. And I don't think I want to change it because first off, changing the lengthening and shortening of a bodice on a wrap top, I haven't really done that. And two, I don't mind the empire waistline on this dress. I think it's flattering. I think it's really nice. I love the fullness of the skirt itself. It's, again, that 1940s style where it's kind of A-line. There's some fullness there, but it's not like takes up a room and hard to move in. And I personally like dressing that 1940s silhouette. And I find that both of these dresses were just so nice, and I love them. I love them. One of the things that I mentioned is that it does have just a button snap, and I just, on this particular fabric, I kind of just wanted to highlight the fabric, so I didn't even put a button or anything. I just put a little snap on the inside of the fabric. I'm wondering if I would like to make a belt for this, but I'm not really sure. If anything that I do, I might make, because it only has a snap on the outside, I might make some sort of snap for the interior side of the wrap dress, because I find sometimes that the waistline of the inside skirt kind of slips a little. But, you know, otherwise, it's perfect. I love it. This is so nice. And I am just kind of disappointed I hadn't shared it sooner with you guys. And I am really eager to make more of these wrap dresses. But again, it's a hard toss-up because I do love this one so much. But I also really love the vintage shirt dress from Sew Over It. So, you know, which one do I want to make? But before any of those, I actually have the penny dress that I've been meaning to make for a really long time now. And I'm hoping that maybe this summer I will get to making the Sew Over penny dress at some point in time. No plans just as yet. But that's the review of the Sew Over It wrap dress. You can see here I did do the pleats the other way around on this one versus the first one. That was probably the only issue that I had with this pattern. The rest of it was really straightforward, and it came together really quickly, actually. I mean, start to finish, it took me about 4 or 5 hours to whip this dress together. So again, it's a really lovely silhouette. I really love it. I'd love to hear in the comments below if you have made the 1940s wrap dress from Sew Over It, what your thoughts are, any other pattern suggestions that I should try that have this lovely silhouette and style. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Akram's Ideas, and thanks for watching.
As it is now May, we me do that again. I'm Sherry of the 1940s Sew Over It Rap Group. It's that was probably the only computer